Hi, this is Dr. Steele, and I wanted to go over the syllabus with you in terms of the assignments that are going to be due this semester. I'm going to be speaking to those of you in 1512 in Section 91 as well as 1512 Section 92, because basically the syllabus looks exactly the same. So going down to the course assignments, basically you can see that there is an overview on page 3 of the syllabus. You're going to need to pay attention to this overview and the schedule. Monday would be a good day to be making sure that you have watched the video for the week, do your reading over the weekend, and then look at the discussion question and be thinking about how you would respond to that discussion question in light of the video lesson and the reading. Now on Tuesday, you're going to be uploading the Scazzero book, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But that's going to be due every Tuesday and pretty much every week, except for the week that we're out for spring break. Now, there's also going to be live Zoom chats every 2 weeks, and during that time I'll do some teaching as well as answer any questions that you're having. The first live Zoom meeting is going to be this Tuesday at 5 o'clock and at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Now, you do not need to attend both. You just need to attend one based on your schedule. And this first meeting is all that you're going to do the first week. So try to be there. I will be recording these meetings every time that we meet so that you can view the recording if you're unable to make it. On Wednesday is when you're going to post your initial discussion answer. And then on Thursday, I want you to be responding to the post that other students made. That's why it's really important for you to make sure that you post on Wednesdays so that other students have the opportunity to respond to your post. Now, don't wait to see what everyone else posted before you post your own. Now, on Friday, you're going to have needed to respond to at least 2 of your classmates' discussion posts. And I'm going to go over those, what that's supposed to look like, how you're graded, and that type of thing. So each week you are going to be watching at least one short video presentation. It's basically a PowerPoint that I'm talking over. And sometimes there's 2, but most of the time each week there's 1. And then, of course, your reading assignment is not only going to be on your schedule in the syllabus, but also on Canvas under each module. As I mentioned, we are going to go live in terms of our online chats. I would like for you to keep in mind that you're going to be responsible for attending or watching the recording of at least 6 of these live chats that we do every other week. And then at the end of the semester, I'm going to ask you to record on Canvas how many of these chats that you actually attended or you watched the recording in order to give you a grade. And you can see here on the syllabus the dates that we are going to be meeting. So try to be there if you can. And it is not required that you're there, but students who are able to make it usually appreciate having the interaction with me, as well as being able to ask questions that may have come up. And also, I like to meet you. So you are going to have a discussion question every week. And these questions are meant for you to basically not only respond to where you're at in terms of your beliefs and your understanding of the issue at hand, but also to interact with your fellow classmates, because they may believe what you believe. You guys may, be, basically thinking along the same lines, and then you're going to have other students who believe something very, very different. So this is your opportunity to try to take in what are the other perspectives related to some of the counseling issues that we're going to be talking about. Hopefully broaden your understanding of some of these issues. Be open-minded in terms of knowing that probably what you believe is true, but there's also truth in what someone else believes. That, it's hard and it's really kind of scary to think that our truth is ultimate truth or universal truth. And sometimes we do that. And so this is your opportunity to just take in what other people might have to say and have a dialogue about it. This is not a time to try to convince somebody else that you're right and they're wrong. This is just a time to be able to reflect on an issue in a way that you've never had an opportunity to respond or think about that issue. We have people in this class who live all over the world. They're going to be able to bring perspectives that we would never even have an opportunity to even think about if they weren't writing and sharing, in the discussion, their lived experience. So I want you to try to decide, we got a lot of people in the class. You're going to try to read everybody's answer to the discussion question. You're going to, do you have time for that? Do you have time to read 5 or 6 or maybe 10? And then you have to decide who you're going to respond back to. You will be graded on this assignment in terms of your post as well as how you respond to other students. I want you to be very careful about how you respond, because this is, like I said, this is not a time to debate the issues. It's a time to basically ask more questions, ask for clarification, encourage somebody else, let somebody know, hey, you know what, I've never thought about that before. This might even be something that will be helpful for me as I'm having an issue, and I can, think about it the way that you presented it. I want you to, respond to 2 of your classmates, but I don't want you to just say, I agree with you or I disagree with you. I need you to provide a little bit, more information than that. If you agree with somebody, tell me why you agreed with them. So I'm totally expecting you guys to be respectful of each other, to be loving, be kind, be encouraging, support one another, and but share in a way that is edifying for you and for your classmates. I just probably am not going to feel really good about students who are disrespectful in this classroom, because as a general rule, I don't appreciate people going into the ministry who kind of have that attitude. So I am going to have a high expectation for you in this class in terms of how you respond and being thoughtful about how you respond. I do expect everyone to give me excellent answers in terms of the discussion questions, and I am expecting everyone to get full credit, which would be 7 points per week. Now, there is a book report that you're going to do. I'm really slowing you down in this book report. It's The Emotionally Healthy Church by Peter Scazzero. This particular pastor who wrote the book went through a relationship crisis, and he basically tells his story. And so I want you to reflect on each chapter within that book each week. And when I asked you for your reflections, do not tell me what the book was about. I know what the book is about. I want you to talk to me about what happens for you emotionally, what your experience is while you're reading that chapter, what you maybe identify with, can relate to, maybe something you just can't relate to at all. But we do know that whenever we are trying to look at issues from a practical standpoint, that there's always going to be a tendency to take certain scriptures or certain doctrines out of context. And so I understand that's going to be, what you're going to experience with Scazzero's book. It's kind of a given. You don't have to talk to me about that in particular unless you can relate it in some way to your life, how you had an incident that, that happened, and maybe that triggers you because of past experiences that you've had. But each chapter is going to be worth 5 points, 12 chapters, a total of 60 points. And that you will upload onto Canvas each week. Now, the community resource paper is going to be something that's going to come up very quickly. It's due on March 23rd. This is a difficult assignment for students because I'm asking you to actually interview Christian counselors, people in your community. This can be somebody that you already know, or it can be, people that you don't know that you're going to have to try to contact. A lot of times students say, I called these Christian counselors, they wouldn't call me back, and I'm like, you know what does that tell you? That tells you they're not people that you're going to want to refer people to in terms of people in your churches. So this is a time that you're going to be finding local resources so that when someone comes to you in your church or in your ministry and they have an issue that you do not feel like anyone in the church can adequately address, you already have the name of somebody that you can send them to. So you want to make sure two things are really important. There's a total of 4 counselors that you are going to interview, and at least 2 of them need to be licensed mental health providers. The other 2 can be just people who are good at counseling, who advertise themselves as counselors. It can even be a pastor who does some counseling. And so you're going to basically find out more information about them so you can determine if you would refer somebody to them. You want to determine who you would refer to them. So what are the questions that you're going to ask them? Well, first of all, are they a Christian? What is their education? Where did they go to school? What is their counseling approach? Do they work with all people, or do they just work with women? Do they just work with men? Do they work with kids? Do they work with couples? What is their fee? What do they charge, per session? Do they have a sliding scale? Do they have a reduced fee? Do they offer pro bono work? You want to find out if they're accepting patients. You want, like I said, find out if they're licensed, find out if they're certified, what brought them to this place of, wanting to do counseling. How do they think change occurs? So these are all the questions you're going to want to ask them, and you're going to want to be able to put it in a format so that this is a resource that you're going to have not only for you but for other people in your church. It also needs to include the name and the location and the phone number of any local acute psychiatric hospitals. These are going to be the places that people go to when they need to be hospitalized for a period of time. You want to look at any local day programs. They are oftentimes associated with hospitals where people will go and spend, a couple hours a day once they've been released from the hospital. I also want you to identify group homes in your community where addicts can go, where alcoholics can go, like missions, where people who have mental health, where they go and they live together. And then lastly, I want you to identify the AA and the Al-Anon groups in your area, as well as NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. Look that up, see if there's meetings in your close to your location. And then this paper is going to be due March 23rd. and it does not require Turabian.